1 week before the EU summit, supposed to bring the Brexit talks to a head, there are reports out now that the parties are coming closer to a deal. Well, Alex will believe when she sees it. But it's a complicated deal that centers in large part on how to handle the border with Northern Ireland. We welcome now from London, Emma Ross-Thomas. She's Bloomberg Brexit editor. So, Emma, if you can, explain this distinction between customs and regulation.
You really want me to explain the difference? So basically, there does seem to be a compromise that, that is a proposal for a compromise, which would basically mean that the whole of the UK would remain in the EU's customs area. And the difference really between customs and regulation is customs is things like tariffs, and it is considered that is a bit more dramatic. It's a question of sovereignty, whereas just regulations is things like phytosanitary, animal health. Are your goods made to the right standards? And so the gamble, if you like, is that the Northern Irish Party that is so keen on remaining, totally within the EU with no separation between Northern Ireland and Great Britain, the idea is that they might find it a bit easier to stomach a few checks on the quality of goods or or animal health or meat, that kind of thing, between Northern Ireland and Great Britain. That they might find that easier to stomach than a customs border, because a customs border is sort of the kind of thing that happens between countries. So that's basically where we are. There is a bit of a lockdown at the moment when everything's gone a bit quiet, both in Brussels and London, as negotiations intensify. The best case scenario, according to most Brexit watchers, is that towards the beginning of next week, an outline agreement might emerge. Then we have a sort of positive summit, and then mid-November another summit is called, and the deal can get signed off. But deadlines are slipping. And we have seen accidents before. The Salzburg summit, everything was going very well. There were lots of positive noises going to that summit, and then there was a bit of an upset. So these things aren't necessarily that predictable. There is a sort of counter argument which says that maybe October will be a bit of a bloodbath, and then you'll end up with sort of a big. Perhaps both sides need to show that they're really fighting hard to get the best possible deal, and perhaps some kind of nasty showdown in October is what's needed to then come back in December and get a deal. So the best case scenario is that towards the middle of this time next week, that Theresa May will go to a dinner with the other EU 27 leaders, and there'll be sort of positive noises, and we'll be heading towards a deal. That is what the market is hoping for, but there is still room for an upset.